All right, cool, awesome. So what I need to talk to you guys about today is a sequence of tests that I actually ran to show something to me that common practices in our field are still actually a worthwhile tool in the optimizer's belt, right? I know we spend a lot of time talking about best practices are bad, avoid them like the plague. You must do all of this research beforehand because we have to know all of the qualitative assurances and those types of things. But what I'm going to show you today, okay, is a series of tests I ran where I had 10 simple tests, okay, with an 80% win rate between those, at an average of 14.79 average lift, measuring, I'll show you the exact examples as well, going from leads to purchases, et cetera. And then also seeing the lift range from a 4.3% lift all the way up to a 38.7. And this was all, what this did for me is it also showed, wow, that's a great win rate there. And what I think Ronnie had shown to us, he said that what, at Bing, you're saying 20% might take, you had, that number's staggering. And I just was like, all right, these common practices are missing from my page. What if I add it on there? So what I ended up doing here was, and what I want to make sure we all know here, what this presentation is, it is not about promoting one common practice over another. Oh, social proof. Oh, one-step forms. No, that is not what we're trying to do today. I want to show you that, that these types of common practices actually are still useful in the CRO strategy, okay? So I think we all have heard this kind of optimization axiom here. There is no best practice for all users. And I think we can agree with that. That's why we have personalized experiences. That's why we look at segments. But I pose to you, what is common to your audience is best, right? Okay, so here's the work I did here, and this is the efficacy of common elements. I identified 10 common elements on the page. I found pages that were missing said element, and I added it in then. And I wanted to see if it helps, hurts, or does nothing. Here are the 10 elements I added in there. Form field reduction, active CTA, adding free numbers and headlines. You guys can read. But I also want to tell you a little bit about the industry background. I ran it on 2 different sites, 2 different styles. So one digital marketer, because that's where I work, and that's where I have access. And then one of our portfolio companies, Survival-Life, which is really survival enthusiasts, which I thought would be hard to sell to online because they don't want to give us credit cards, but it's really just kind of like rich white guys. And so they do want to give you your credit cards, so it's pretty interesting. But before I get into the table here, I wanted to give you the case study slides now because I don't have enough time to go through 10 studies in depth. And I have go to the bit.ly that's on there right there, the DM-CXL. You can get this and go to slide 29. And they fall in order of the table that I'm about to show you. Okay? So I know that you're getting the slides anyways later on. I want you to have them now. So you go, oh, that's what he's talking about, because he didn't have enough time to tell about the different design elements that changed. Does everybody have that, by the way? I can go back for a second. Cool. All right. So here is my nice little table here. What I'm looking at here is the common practice, converting action, page type. Did the common practice win? What was the winning variant lift? What's the confidence? And what's the total sample size? I give you my raw data on the slides that you'll be going through as well. So you'll have that information there, as well as the screenshots. So for form field reduction, it was an opt-in for the converting action, page type, landing page, common practice win. Yes, we saw a 7.42% lift, and hopefully you're looking at that right now on slide 29. Are you? Okay. Or you're just imagining. We good? Okay. So, all right, so and moving forward, so then that one had a common practice win. This next one, which was a standard CTA, and these are all on the digital marketer site. We were optimizing for clicks here. This was in a blog post, right? And we wanted to get people, we have 2 calls to action in our blog posts in the middle and at the bottom. We wanted to get more people to actually click the darn thing. And so we tried using an active call to action in there, okay? And the common practice saw a 25% uplift in clicks on both CTA1 and CTA2, and I break it down to the number of clicks for each CTA in the slides. All right, top left logo. So branding initiatives. We always talk about, we have to have our logo at the top. It must be clickable, those things. There's other compliance stuff you have to pay attention to. But this one actually didn't matter. We did one with a digital marketer logo, did one with a product logo, and then kind of took it away, and nothing really happened. So I was like, oh, well, there we go. There's my first loss, my first lose there. Actually, it was a null right there. Okay, reducing options on the page. So on one of the pages, we had And so this is on a download page. We had an option to download a product. And there's also a sales page, like trying to upsell them as well. But if we gave them the immediate download there, you'll see actually on the heat maps that I provided you that like nobody scrolls down because everybody clicked that download button and just pieced out of the page. They were done. So this one, when we reduced options, on this sales page, we saw a 38.7% lift in sales of a $7 product. Okay. All right, single step opt-in. So we were going from down like a click here to sign up button to a inline form. Right, this one we saw, this is again on another paid landing page. Most of the stuff, if it's a landing page, it's all coming from either Google or Facebook traffic. Okay, and we saw a winning variant there of 4.8%. Okay, adding free to a CTA. We all know like free is the cocaine of marketing. You just keep adding it places and you keep wanting to do it. And so, so adding free to CTA, that, I wasn't planning to say that today. That we saw a 14.4% lift in there, which was interesting. And again, you guys should have all of these slides in front of you. Putting numbers in headlines. You know those perfect headline formulas like 5 things that X does Y and you're gonna love it, right? Those, we just wanted to add numbers in there to kind of quantify something. That actually did help out in terms of, what was it, in terms of opt-ins. So this was an on-site retargeting offer, an exit pop, where we just added numbers in the headlines there. Saw an 18% lift there. Similarly, on that same one there, we saw, we added an image of my boss, Ryan. And you'd think, too, because he has kind of some star status there. Having his face there would actually help. It didn't. That one, it normally does, too. And like, I guess I could have iterated further if I wanted to take the time and like put my face and see if that helped. And maybe they just had a bad feeling, or who knows. But you can then take what you've learned and then iterate out, right? And then on our Survival Life site, we ended up doing this, adding social proof to a sales page at the bottom, like a share this. Maybe they're going to leave, you want to try and catch them. Adding social proof actually did help. We saw a 5.7% lift in sales, and this was a free but pay for shipping, so a $3 offer. And then stop using a slider on our homepage. We all know that, like, sliders suck, right? We know that. So we got rid of it, and yes, it increased clicks for us. That we were just trying to get people to consume content because that site is highly focused on mixing content and commerce together. And if the more people we can get to read content, we know that we can then turn them into customers because we know they will eventually opt in as they consume. So those are my 10 tests. I have 8 that won, 1 that was a null, and 1 that was a loss for me. An 80% win right there. Lots of really great information, I think, hopefully for you guys. You have all the slides there, but I want to talk about one more thing, really, and explain like why this is important to me, right? Great, I did some things that helped the business, kind of, right? But what does this mean for me in terms of an optimizer and in terms of what's going on, I think, in the optimization community, right? So, bring back Dilbert. I normally like to use Calvin and Hobbes, but this one was useful. And you see in the middle is if everyone is doing it best, best practices is the same thing as mediocre. Okay, but it's not about reinvention, right? It's about meeting expectations, okay? And knowing what is common and identifying these common factors. And we talked all about this brain stuff yesterday. The brain does like that. I'm not even going to get into brain things because I'm not a neuroscientist or a psychologist, so I can't really talk about a few. And that's another issue altogether. But it's about meeting expectations there. So common elements, common elements, layouts, functionality, they all meet user expectations. Templates aren't a bad thing. Kind of having a standard wireframe that you see out there, it's not a bad thing. Okay? So let's get over ourselves a little bit here, okay? So what is marketing essentially? What are we trying to do while we're marketing, right? What we're doing here is we have a before state, we have an after state. Hopefully that's what they look like after they interact with you, right? And so all marketing is the articulation of value. And the amount it costs for you there, like the distance equals value, and then whatever your product or service is, and that's all. Good marketing and copywriting simply articulates the move from the before state to the after state. So we just got to get good at articulating things, right? We got to make sure the formats work, and we have to make sure that people can find what they're looking for and expect it. No surprises, right? So don't think, though, that marketing can fix like a bad offer, ever. And Bubbles is the man right there. okay? Never think that, because if you think about it, like, say you have a good offer that's optimized, you're a happy camper. Not optimized, oh, I could do a bit better, but my offer's good, I'm feeling good about it. If you have a bad offer that you're optimizing, you're just showing people you suck faster, okay? All right, so you don't want to be doing that. And, if you have a bad offer not optimized, you probably don't have a company. All right, so what I've noticed, and I think it's a common thing, that low conversion rates are caused by three things. They're caused by either poor offer construction, poor articulation, or poor offer audience offer audience match. There we go. Oh gosh. Well, it doesn't want you to see that. I think I did a weird animation there and I took it out or something. But all right, so what I'm posing to you here with the work I did is that I need to prove this antecedent. These tests prove this to me, that common practices are a way to improve articulation and meet expectations. And if that's the case, then they are useful to the optimization strategy still, and fair game. So stop with all the hate, man. And how to apply common practice, I like to gather base data on things and then challenge a variant that can potentially benefit. So here's like, say you have a new page you're creating, and you're like, I need X landing page for this. You're not going to just go, well, let's see here. I'm going to try and reinvent the wheel. You're not going to do that. Create a page using a familiar layout, templates, whatever, I don't care. And include some standard common practices there, insofar as they help articulate your message. Get your page baseline, test and iterate. All right? If you have a page that isn't performing up to par, now you just do this question. Would the addition of X improve the experience? If yes, give it a shot. If no, go back to the beginning. All right, so who this helps? Teams with limited dev resources, smaller companies, companies without a testing culture, or filled with office politics. We know how hard it is to get things done. If you can kind of be like, group mentality, herd mentality, and then also teams with low traffic. But I believe that Gary Oldman has it right here, and really, it's everyone. So hopefully that was useful for you, and you liked my pictures, but my final thought for you is this, okay? Final thought is, I am all for innovation, all for trying to find those outlying results that are going to really make a difference for our particular client or for our business, but that is not step one. Start with the basics, then really start innovation. That's when we can start making changes, and thank you.